Welcome back, everyone. We are going to discuss IBPS mock test, all India mock test that you had on the 21st. We are going to discuss the questions on that. So let's get started. We had half an hour of break and we are back with the session. Alright, so let's get to the questions. The first one. So this is error spotting related question. It can be grammatical or idiomatic error. Immediately, however, what is most crucial is to make an open and impassioned appeal for what? For peace in the valley, accompanied. Okay, here it should be the preposition is wrong. Usually you get there are prepositions that are used for a certain word. Okay, so if I have to talk about accustomed, all right, so accompanied, we will be using, instead of with, we will be using accompanied. I'm so sorry, accompanied by, not accompanied to, not accompanied with. Accompanied by meeting and consultation at several levels, not accompanied with. So the error is in option 3, that is C. Okay, so Sony can only understand the bracketed one. I got it, now I get it. Okay. Ramesh, illiterate. What is that for? Ramesh, who is illiterate? Alright, so the answer is option 3. Moving on to the next question. Today's agitators. Who are agitator? Agitator is a person who who urges others to protest or rebel. Alright, that's an agitator. Okay, so someone who urges people to protest or rebel is an agitator. Accustomed to is right. Yes, accustomed to is right. I have gotten accustomed to the culture in the south. Okay, that means used to, familiar with, accustomed to. Alright. Today's agitator are angry and reckless, but that is they who are redefining. But that is how did we use the preposition? Pronoun that. It should not be that. It should be. But it is they who are redefining. Even though they are angry and reckless, it is they who are redefining the nature of protests and reshaping the contours of the movement. What is the meaning of contour? It's the outline. Okay, outline representing certain boundaries is the contour. All right, so the answer will be, the error is in option B, that is it is they who are redefining. Okay, who is responsible for agitation is an agitator, right? So the answer is B. Yes. Moving on to the next question. Restoring to pyrotechnics. Okay, what is pyrotechnics? Very, very interesting. I think this pyrotechnics also came in one word substitution in one of the questions that I was discussing. Pyrotechnics is the art of making fireworks. Interestingly, it has come from the Greek word pyro, which means fire, and technique, which means art to make. Okay, art to make is technique. Okay, so that is the meaning of The Greek word for techniques is technikos. It's TECK technique, KNIOS, something like that. Okay, so yes, pyro is fire, pyro is fire. Yes, we discussed it in one of the one word substitution. So restoring to pyrotechniques such as the novel idea as in from the novel idea of tying a protester to the bonnet of a security vehicle and driving it to a crowd of agitators are best avoided. Okay, best avoided. So we are not talking about vehicle. Let's say this is the vehicle. We are not talking about tying the protester to the bonnet and taking it to the protester. We are talking about taking it through the protesters. Okay, so the crowd, it should be the preposition which is wrong over here is vehicle it to a crowd of agitators. So it should be option C has the error. Alright, pardon my drawing, I just wanted to explain it. So the protesters, it is talking about taking it through the protesters and not to them. Alright, moving on, next one. To begin with, policymakers must ponder. Ponder is think about something in particular. Okay, in particular and think very carefully. Okay, that is the meaning of ponder deeply as to why ordinary citizens are prepared to gravitate. Very nice word. What is the meaning of the word gravitate? Gravitate means move towards someone or something, or attracted to a person or a thing. Okay, basically attracted to a person or a thing. If you can make a statement with gravitate, it would be nice, because I love the word. It's attraction, okay, towards people or towards an object. Okay, so pondering, thinking, yes. Sorry, gravitate to areas where actual encounters are taking place, risking death and injury, even though they are not involved in the protests. Okay, so where is the error over here? Let's read it again. Once again, if it is not clear, D. Most of you are saying D. Where is the error in option D? Involve here is not correct. Yes, involve should be involved. Alright, it's not correct. Past form will be used over here. Okay, it will not be in the present form. Alright. So the error is in option D, that is the fourth one. Yes. Shubham, yes, it is related to gravity, and that's why the word the gravity has magnetic qualities that attract us to the earth's surface, that keeps us attracted to the earth's surface, and that's why the word gravitational gravity. Ma'am, ponder means thinking deeply, is it not? Yes, thinking deeply and carefully about something. Yes, you know, concentrating on a single thought, like he kept pondering about the girl he met on the train. That means he's special focus on that thought. All right, that is the meaning of pondering. All right, next one. Putting the blame on the ruling coalition for the present morass. Okay, what is the meaning of morass? It is a complicated situation. Complicated situation. Or it can be confusing as well. Morass of Kashmir, as former Chief Minister Farooq Abdullah has done recently, hardly helps. Okay, there is an error. Can you tell me where is the error? Let's read it again. Once again, putting the blame on the ruling coalition for the present morass of Kashmir. Morass is the complicated situation which is not of Kashmir, which is in Kashmir. It should be, the preposition again is used wrong. So B has the error. Guys, please do not just tell me where is the error. Also tell me what kind of error or where is the error. Okay, what kind of error it is, so that you have a clear picture as well as to where exactly is the error, and if you're wrong, I'm here to correct and help you. Alright, moving on to the next one. Now these are different type of questions where again 2 blanks are given and pairs of words are given in the option. Alright, on the fiscal on the fiscal what? There has been some dash in recent years. On the fiscal what? So on the fiscal head, it cannot be fiscal head. We never say fiscal head. On the fiscal side, okay. On the fiscal policy, there has been some dash in hindrance in recent years. No, this is not the right usage. On the fiscal front, on one hand, we do use fiscal front, which means front of or at the front. So when we take the fiscal front of the economy, there has been some easing in the recent year. That means people, what is the meaning of fiscal? It is relating to government expenditure. Okay, alright, so in that front there has been some easing. That means some leverage has been given over there. Alright, so that is the right answer. 4th one is the right answer for that. Let's move on to the next question. Yes, fiscal policy. Collocation. No. Alright, moving on to the next question. Okay, why not fiscal side? Because we never say fiscal side of something. Okay, we are not talking about different sides of something where one side is the good side and one side is the bad side. We are talking about many fronts. Okay, so when we take the fiscal front into consideration, that's why we do not say side. Okay, because side is it is not the same as on one side. Okay, it is sides talk about differentiate. Okay, on this side of the matter and on that side of the matter. So fiscal side is not correct. No, it is not correct. Fiscal front we say. Why not fiscal policy? Because the next word is there has been some hindrance in recent years. Policies cannot have hindrance. Okay, again, not the very good use of it. Why not policy, ma'am? Okay, I know that, I understand that people, whenever they hear fiscal, they quickly, as soon as fiscal, the word fiscal comes into picture, they think the next word should be policy. But you should also look at the next word. Okay, because we cannot talk about fiscal policy, cannot have, the policy itself cannot have a lot of hindrance. Okay, alright, so moving on to the next question. Okay, as West Bengal gears up to vote in next government its next government. To dash, we take a closer look at the state's economy and finances under the dash TMC and compare it to the performance of its predecessor. All right. So as West Bengal gears up to vote its next government to, okay, next government to what? We bring the next government to what? We bring the next government to power. Okay, we bring the next government to power. That means to the throne, or to overtake the previous government. Or we usually say that the BJP is in power now. Alright, so it will be power and incumbent. So you do not have to even look at the next word. It should be the right option, so it should be the fifth one, because from the very first option you can understand what is the meaning, which one would be the right answer. Next one. The Kerala Congress Party is dash as having an amoebic existence. What is the meaning of amoebic? Like amoeba, resembling an amoeba. And I am sure all of you must have read in your biology book, this is the first thing that we talk about, unicellular animal, amoeba. So what is the very characteristic of amoeba? An amoeba, to reproduce, it is an asexual reproduction, and it splits to form another life. All right, so it usually splits, that is amoebic existence. And the Kerala Congress Party is dash as having amoebic existence, splitting to grow, growing to split. Okay, that is the amoebic existence. Very nicely said. What is the meaning of lampooned? The meaning of the word lampooned is publicly criticize someone by using what? Ridicule, irony or sarcasm. It can be any of it. Now, as you can notice, the second word is it is going well with it. The Kerala government party, sorry, the Kerala Congress Party is publicly being criticized as having an amoebic existence. So yes, we are talking about criticizing. So it should be option 1. Okay, how are they criticized? In public, using, it can be using ridicule, it can be any of it. It can be irony or it can be sarcasm. So first one is the right answer. Growing to split is a or an dash in Kerala politics is. Now it's very cleverly mentioned. You can understand that this will be the answer, because for the rest of the question there is no a or an given. So even if you were not sure till here, till the first option, you can understand that there is an a or an option given. That means that they very well know that there will be an error if it is a. What is the meaning of enigma? Enigma is, it can be a person or a thing that is mysterious. Or difficult to understand. Alright, that is the meaning of enigma. So the right answer will be option 1. Alright. So let's move on to the next question. Okay, splitting and growing is not a very good quality, Shubham. So they cannot be praised for it. So like you're saying puzzle, it is not going well with the statement, because splitting to grow and growing to split is a kind of a mockery. Okay, it is a kind of an irony. Okay, so they are being lampooned. Jeff Hardy, yes, very nice, Shubham, like Jeff Hardy. All right, next one. For decades, Royal Enfield has been used in the Himalayas by the army and by enthusiasts and adventurers too. Okay, so for decades now, that is the phrase, for decades now. We do not use it, it is a phrase and it is always used in the same manner. For decades now, Royal Enfield has been used in Himalayas by the army and by enthusiasts, and of late means recently by enthusiasts and adventurers too. All right, so the answer is option 5. Yes, very nice, Karan, very nice Vidya, very nice Shankara Rao. All right, moving on to the next one. Mexico City is temporarily ordering all cars to remain idle it's wrong, it should be 1 day in a week in to its worst air quality in over a decade. So the recent situation is the worst time. Okay, so that's what this statement means. Just out of curiosity, what is the meaning of the word imbroglio? It means an extremely confused. It can be confused or it can be complicated or even embarrassing. Situation. All right, so that is the meaning of imbroglio. Okay, let's look at the words again. Sorry, the statement again. Mexico City is temporarily ordering all cars to remain idle 1 day in a week. In what? In to its worst quality in over a decade. So it can be either a response or it can be a reaction. Am I right or wrong? It cannot be a comeback. Okay, comeback is when you are gone for a long time from a certain place or from a certain industry and you come back. Okay, that is a comeback. Okay, so people usually say what a great comeback Flipkart has made or something like that. Okay, so that cannot be the answer. Temporarily ordering, it cannot be an answer, it cannot be a counter. Okay, so let's look at the two options, reaction and response. Which one would be the correct answer? Will it be response or will it be reaction? It can be a response. Okay, if they are not reacting to a certain, they are responding to the worst air quality crisis in over a decade. So the answer should be option 2. Ramesh, there's nothing called as despite of. I've repeated I think twice or thrice in my previous session that we were taking. There is nothing called as despite of. It is in spite of and despite. Even though, that's the meaning. Okay, although, despite, in spite of, all of these means the same thing. Alright, moving on to the next question. don't know how many of you like this, but I have repeatedly told you I do not like this at all. But since we have to do this, let's do it. Alright. So we are supposed to do parajumbles now. Teaching, particularly school teaching, is not exactly a first choice career option for most. It was mine, but okay, for most. After all, the examiners come from the pool of school teachers, and I dare say that by and large, that is not a very distinguished catchment area. What is the meaning of catchment? Action of collecting. Water usually, but catchment area. Okay. Let us not overlook the reality of the manner in which the examinations are administered. No one replied in affirmation. Has anyone, for instance, done an audit of the examiners? To confirm this, I asked an assembly of parents in my school how many of them would encourage their son to be a school teacher. The reason for this are manifolds. Okay, so we are talking about okay, so what is this whole passage about, this para about? It is about how teaching is not the very first option of many. Okay, so someone went and asked a lot of parents how many of them wanted to be teachers, wanted their kids to be teachers. There was no one who replied in affirmation. That's what the statement is. Chandra, it is too late to say hi friends, and we are almost getting done. So Neeraj, yes, Neeraj, too late. Okay, let's look at which one should be the first, second, third and fourth. Okay, but what is the meaning of the words like affirmation and manifold? Affirmation means action of affirming, and manifold means many or various. Alright, so which one should be the first one? Let us not overlook the reality of the manner in which the examinations are administered. That should be the first one, because it is talking about examination being administered, and then it goes on to talk about teachers. Alright, so this is the first one. Next comes has anyone, for instance. So this is giving example of examinations are being administered. Next sequence number 2, and there is the reply for this. After all, the examiners come from the pool of school teachers. I dare say that by and large that is not a very distinguished catchment area. Okay, so most of the examiners come from the pool of school teachers. Okay, and which is not a very catchy area or catchment area. All right, that is the meaning. All right, so sequence is CEB is the sequence. All right, next, what comes after CEB? The reason for this is manifold. Okay, now we are discussing the reason, so G should come next. The reasons for this is many. Okay, there are many reasons, and then we will see which one highlights one of the reasons. Teaching, particularly school teaching, is not exactly a first choice career option for most. So that's why all this is happening. So G and A are pairs, And yes, like you said, someone said F and D is a mandatory pair. To confirm this, I asked an assembly of parents. So yes, most of them replied none of them replied, no one replied in an affirmation. That means no one said yes, that was there, they want their kids to become school teachers. So F and D is a mandatory pair. So the order will be C, E, B, G, A, F, D. Okay, so it starts with talking about how the examination are administered and why is it so. Okay, so we talk about because the teachers the school teachers who become school teachers, it is not their first career option, and that's why it should be. And then it goes on to give examples of why, yes, that is the example of why it is not so. And then it talks about giving another example to illustrate it. When it was asked to many people, many parents, they answered, none of them said yes, they want their kids to be, or their first career option choice is a school teacher. Okay, so that's the sad reality. I'm so sorry, Karan. This is the first time I'm seeing Karan with a sad emoji. Usually it is the smiling one. Anyways, better luck next time, Karan. I think this was a little tricky, okay, because the starting statement itself is not very prominent. Okay, it looks like it is a continuation from somewhere. Let us not overlook. But if you try understanding the whole passage, what is the essence of the passage, what is it talking about, then you guys can get it. Look for pairs, that's how then in the result is entire loss of full marks. How to solve these type of questions, that's what I'm saying. Look for sequence, look for pairs. Okay, so like I said, CEB is a sequence. And how to choose an introductory statement. Usually introductory statements have noun or proper noun. The first introduction of is usually with a noun or proper noun, but there are cases like this where you do not see an introduction of any kind. So in that case, you need to look at what is the main or the general idea of the passage. What is the sense of the passage? Once you get that, then next few lines follow as examples. Okay, so you get examples and illustrations to support the same point. Sometimes it is chronological order, things that happen in a sequence like past, present and future. Sometimes it is firstly, secondly, thirdly. So you need to look at a passage. A parajumble can be in any of these orders, and we have videos related to parajumbles. If you guys are having any doubts in how to solve a parajumble question, please go through the video once again. And you guys are premium customers, so information for you is absolutely free, so why don't you check out a few videos for that. This is not me marketing TalentSprint's video, this is just me urging you to make full use of the video. The sequence may be interchanged. Like I said, different questions have different ways of, sometimes it is a combination of sequence and mandatory pair. Like here we have sequence C, E, B and the mandatory pair F and D. So you need to look at it, follows in a chain reaction. So if you know that this should be the statement, the next statement should follow something related to the previous. Certain words and terminologies are repeated in the next statement. Like for here in example, for instance, when we say yes, if we talk about the reason, okay, so the word reason has been repeated in the, so first they have given instance and then the reason why is it happening and things like that. So you need to understand the chain of reaction. It's not free, ma'am, actually, but yeah, we will. Yeah, now that you guys have I don't know how to put it in a good way. What I'm trying to say is, even if it is not free, you've already become our privileged customers, so why not make full utilization of what you're getting. You have so many videos to watch. How many questions are over, friend? Okay, so, and practice as many parajumbles as possible, because something about parajumbles is that you need a lot of practice to get that eye of, you know, being very careful and seeing the sequence. Alright, coming back to the question. So, which one is the last one? That is the seventh one. It is D. D is the seventh one because we have the order C, E, B, G, A, F, D. Alright, so last one is D, fourth one, 1, 2, 3, 4, G. Then we have third is B, that is option 5, second is E, that is option 2, first is C, that is option 4. So Anil, if you get, or you always get stuck in this question, that then you know for sure that you have a problem over here, then why not, instead of avoiding it, why not practice as much as possible? It will help you. Now that you enrolled, it's all free. This is what madam wanted to convey. Yes. Now that you have enrolled. Yes, that would be the appropriate word. Thank you, Sony. Thank you. Anyways. Moving on to the last section of today, we have fill in the blanks. Okay, fill in the numbers with the options given below. The Supreme Court has dashed down. Okay, as soon as it is down, we usually, you know what to put, but do not go by the obvious answer here. The Supreme Court has dashed down the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India call drop regulations, calling on telcos to pay consumers penalties for dropped calls. Okay, what is the meaning of the word penalties? Penalty is a punishment imposed it can be for breaking a law or a rule. Okay, so that is the meaning of the word penalty for dropped calls. Okay, so what should be the right answer? The Supreme Court has dashed down the Telecom Regulatory Authority. It should be struck down. Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, India's call drop regulation, calling on telecos to pay consumers penalties for the drop call. Okay, so what is the meaning of the words struck down, of the phrase struck down? If someone can tell me, it would be good. Moving on to the next line. The point is not that the court has given telecom operators carte blanche. Okay, what is the meaning of carte blanche? The meaning is complete freedom. It's a French word. Complete freedom for what? To act as one wishes. Alright? To dash call quality the way the Chhattisgarh government treats civil rights group in the state. Okay, so it is the same. It is not given the operators the same freedom to dash calls, to treat calls. Okay, to treat calls in the same manner as the Chhattisgarh government treats civil rights group in the state. Okay, so it is sort of comparing Chhattisgarh government, how they treat the civil rights group. It is not the same as, it's not the same freedom that the telecom operators have got. Okay, so that should be the next one. Rather, the court has dashed the arbitrariness. Okay, what is the meaning of arbitrariness? Arbitrariness is the quality. I think arbitrary, all of you know the word. We have discussed the word arbitrary. What is arbitrary? Since it is ness, that means it is an adjective, so it always talks about the quality of being based on random choice. Remember, we did this word which is based on random choice or personal whim, and rather than any reason or logic or system. So just because I felt like doing it, I did it. So that is arbitrary, and the arbitrariness is the quality of doing that on a regular basis. So I hate his arbitrariness. It always gets us into trouble. That means because of his thinking on the spot and doing something without any logic or system and just going for it with the adrenaline rush, I hate that quality in him. All right, it gets us into trouble every time. All right. So what rather the court has dashed the arbitrariness. So they have, what have they done? Have they hailed the arbitrariness? No, they have allowed the arbitrariness. No, we are talking about them nailing the arbitrariness. Okay, in the telecom regulators orders. The license under which operators, next one, the license under which the operators offer phone services provide for 2% drop calls, a large multiple of the actual level of calls drop, dash, and further trail has failed to establish that calls drop only because of operators something something. Okay, so a large multiple of the actual level of calls drops, experienced, and further trails has failed to establish that calls drop only because of operators deficient, I'm so sorry, because of operators deficient conduct. This emphatic disapproval of arbitrariness is most welcome. What is the meaning of emphatic? Emphatic means expressing What is the meaning of the word superfluous? Superfluous is exceeding more than required or doing something more than required. Too much. Forcibly and clearly. Okay, synonym can be vehement or firm. Okay, that is the meaning of emphatic. So the last one will be 5. Alright, so that brings us to the end of today's session. I hope you got the sorry, I'm so sorry. I hope you made the most out of the session. I keep falling from here. I'm so sorry, guys. Anyways, I hope you made most out of this session, more than needed. What is strong views? Alright, so that brings us to the end. I will see you next Friday with the next paper to solve, and on Saturday with doubt clarification session. So please do not forget to post your doubts if you have any on the dashboard. See you guys, have a great weekend, and alright, so yeah, see you guys, bye bye, sayonara, see you guys, good night.